In this video, we're covering section 3 of the Pit and the Pendulum unit, and the title is Analyzing Histograms. For this set of notes, you need to have your notes packet, a pencil, and a calculator. Please hit pause until you have those items ready to go. All right, so section 3, here we go. We have a histogram here, and remember that each bar is the frequency of how many times this event happens. And now we have intervals here. So first step for number 1 is use the histogram above to fill in the frequency for each interval in the frequency table. So over here we have a frequency table. Now as we're looking through, we need to kind of guesstimate here, and I'm going to give you the exact numbers that we need to put in, but if we look from between 0 and 9, and the amount of space here scaling by tens, we can see that we have 8 observations in this bar. This bar is a little bit easier to determine. We have 10. And then 20 to 29, hopefully you'd agree that it looks like 22. From 30 to 39, we have 29. From 40 to 49, we have 36. And finishing out the table, we would then be able to see that we have 55, 39, 20, 10, and 3. So to go on to question number 2, we have that now we have our data filled in our table. In question number 2, we're going to calculate how many total exams scores are here. And so that's important to know how many observations were total in the table. Use your calculator and go ahead and total those up. Now that we've used our calculator and added them up, you should get 232 observations in this table. Question number 3, question number 4. Why can you not use the information provided to find the mean? So let's think back, what's the mean? The mean is adding up all of the values and dividing by the number that's there. It's the average. Well, I think if you would go through this with me, let's think about this 8 and then this interval of 0 to 9. We don't know if this 8 means that we have 8 zeros, or if we have 8 nines, or if we have a couple 1s, a couple 2s, a couple 3s, a couple 4s, a couple 5s. And that's it. We don't know what those 8 are in this interval. And so we cannot use the information provided because we don't know what each score actually is in the interval. And so again, we know that we have 8 values in this range, but we don't know what each one is. And so we cannot find the mean. All right, so now calculating percentages. So we have our frequency table filled in, and question A says, what percent of the exam scores are from 30 to 39? So we want the actual percent. So we go up here and we look from 30 to 39, and we see that there were 29 scores in that area. To find a percent, we're going to take the number that we want. Okay, we're looking at this 29. We're going to divide by the total in the whole set, and that was 232. from number 3. And so when we divide this out, 29 divided by 232, you're getting 0.012. And I could actually show that here. While this is opening up, it seems that I skipped example number 2. We can go back to that momentarily after this, after we get done with these questions. While my calculator is warming up, let's go ahead and go back to that question that I breezed right past. So example number 2, how big are the intervals? And so we have 0 to 9. Come back to you, calculator. We have 0 to 9, 10 to 19, 20 to 29. And at first glance, a lot of students are going to say that the intervals here are a length of 9. But you have to count this 0. And so if you counted this out on your fingers, it would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are actually 10. There are actually 10 data pieces possible in each of these intervals. So sometimes it's, again, helpful to count those out. We can't subtract 9 minus 0, but you have to actually know how many different possibilities are there in the interval, and that's 10. Okay, so going back here to example 5, now that my calculator is ready. So we need to divide 29 divided by 232. The reason why I'm showing you this on the screen here is we need to think about what does this value mean on our calculators. This is 0.125, and we want this as a percent. You know, the percent is the number out of 100, and so you can move this decimal place over twice. If you're not comfortable with that, you can multiply by 100 to move it over, and you get a 12.5% for the range here from 30 to 39. From 70 to 79, we go up here and we look, 70 to 79 looks like there's 20 observations in that range. So it's going to be 20 divided by 232. And then we go back to calculator here and let's check that out. So now 20 divided by 232. And we see 0.08620. So again, we want to move that over 2 places. That's going to be 8.6. Now look at the number after the 6. It is less than 5, so we're going to leave it at 8.6. And again, if you feel more comfortable, you can multiply by 100, and then you can see that 8.6. And so that 2 leaves the 6 where it's at. So 8.6%. And I should go back and put my percent sign here with this 12.5. And then lastly, example 5C, let's take a look at this. Now from 40 to 79, we need to add up all of these values here. And so it'd be 36 plus 55 plus 39 plus 20. And we get to add those up, and then our denominator is still the same, all of the observations in the event 232. When we add these numbers up across the top, we should be getting 150. And then we're going to divide by 232. So last one, let's look at this in the calculator. 150 divided by 232. All right, we're getting 0.6465. Okay, I'm so noticing here some numbers above 5. Let's multiply this by 100, and let's see what we should round to. So we have 64%, 0.65. So this number after the 6 is 5 or bigger, and so this is going to turn into 64.7%. So I'll show that one more time here. This number after the one decimal place we want is 5 or bigger, so it shoves that 6 up to a 7. All right, so that concludes this section of notes. You'll have the opportunity to practice it on an activity in class.